What's going on, guys? It's that guy on the couch. You know, the guy on his couch, your couch, any couch really you can find on. And I'm here today to do a movie review. The Love Statue, released in 1965, originally titled The Love Drug. Prior to the latter being chosen, it didn't go over well with advertisement, so we got what we got. Killing about an hour and 13 minutes of your time, even though online it says it runs 2 hours and 47 minutes, and another source I came across saying 80 minutes. I don't know who couldn't make up their mind, but if there is an extended version to this, or scenes they cut out, I'd love to see them on the fly, chance it's more going on than a mix-up of information. Without the supposed extra hour and a half, the film delivers fine and no scene really overstays its welcome. Written and produced by Richard A. Poor, who'd go on to produce The Name of the Game is Kill in 1968, which always felt like a precursor to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Hills Have Eyes, and Hitchhiker movies, where a sane person or group of people aren't aware of the dangers ahead and become the targets of someone insane. Directed by David E. Durston, this would be the first film under his belt. He also used the alias Richard Kent as assistant editor and screenwriter for this production, as well as other aliases like Spencer Logan and David Ransom down the road. This film begins with a nearly naked woman's silhouette dancing in smoke as the opening credits and title are presented. Visually stunning, you don't see much like it for the time. It's sick. Cutting to the shortest opening sex scene I've ever seen, leading into the main character, Tyler Westin, played by Peter Rattray, who would later on act in James Cameron's The Abyss, alongside Betty Say playing as Lisa. They appear to be happy lovers, till they get in an argument as Lisa heads to work. Tyler gets fed up with her shit and smacks Lisa, but considering the reaction she gives, you'd think her grandma hits harder. Tyler smacks her up again and she bashes his ass in the head with a bottle. It's okay though, she patches him up and stays with him until he's conscious and hands him some dough before leaving. Shortly after, a friend of Tyler, Stan, comes over, played by Harvey J. Goldenberg, who predominantly had an active career in the 70s and did a few more movies during the late 80s. Looking for a place to stay, Stan comments on Tyler's paintings and we learn he's an artist too and plans on creating a new piece using clay he brought with. Tyler makes his friend at home and heads to the club. We cut to the singer Mashiko, played by Hisako Tsutsukuba, an actress with experience in music and acting all of her own in quite a few films before going by Chaco Van Leeuwen, and was even an apprentice of Roger Corman. You go, Tsutsukuba. She produced the original 1978 Piranha and remained involved in the franchise's installments, and yeah, motherfuckers, that includes the ones with Christopher Lloyd and David Hasselhoff. So it's almost safe to say we wouldn't have gotten Gary Busey getting eaten by piranhas without her, and it's probably the closest we'll get to a Ginger Dead Man vs. Piranha movie unless Charles Band gets bored enough. Anyhow, damn near the whole room is at Mashiko's mercy while Tyler shows up and takes a seat with his friends Josh and Nick, postponing his hunt for Lisa. He shares what's wrong, and Josh thinks he has just a cure for his pal. Nick temporarily diverts where the conversation was headed. As Mashiko finishes singing, Josh calls her over. He introduces the two and asks Mashiko to help guide Tyler up the path to internal freedom, but Tyler isn't going for it. She gives him a card though, just in case he changes his mind. Then Tyler gets shit-faced at the club and makes a fool of himself. Stumbling home, he makes it and hops in the shower. Lisa comes home soon after and they try fucking. It goes nowhere. Lisa laughs her way out the door as Tyler sets out to visit Mashiko. He runs by Stan coming home with the girl, and the next thing you know, we're at Mashiko's. She invites Tyler in, he meets her friends, and it looks like they've been hotboxing the old reefer madness and tripping there for days. Mashiko entices Tyler with LSD and explains the doctor gave it to her to be part of his experiment. Tyler, being desperate from lack of creativity, decides down what the hell, then gets it on with Mashiko. Meanwhile, Stan's sculpting his model when Lisa checks in to see if Tyler's been back yet. Apparently it's been 3 days, and they haven't heard anything. Stan tries reassuring Lisa he's fine. We cut back to Tyler waking up from his bender. As he walks outside, we get a decent perspective of him having a bad trip, diving deeper into his psyche. He comes to and messes around with Stan's clay statue, putting a wig on it. He starts talking to the statue, played by Gigi Darlene, who had her foot in the door of sexploitation, starring in other films like Bad Girls Go to Hell and White Slaves in Chinatown. For a split moment, the statue becomes animate when he isn't looking. The film could have focused more on Tyler and the statue, and it would have been fine by me. It's great. We delve even deeper, and Tyler's now aware, accepting his trip. Eventually comes to at home with Lisa worried where he's been. It's too late though, our little rabbit's seen Wonderland, and he'd rather be somewhere else, feeling and smelling everything above the sky and below the dirt, if you know what I mean. We see Lisa take her frustrations out on something, and then talk to someone off screen who frightens her and kills her anticlimactically. Tyler comes back with groceries in the best mood we've seen him in the entire film to see Lisa dead on the floor. Then he hauls us out of there and catches a boat. Like, my man is just smoking a cigarette reflecting on life, like, yo, what the f. He stares off into the water and scenes of Lisa laying dead repeat with an extra scene of him telling her to get out, setting the tone that it's unclear what really happened. He then buys a train ticket and follows a woman he's sure he's met. She couldn't be less interested in whatever he's up to, but he continues to pursue her and mentions his and Stan's full names to buy time, explaining Stan uses his studio and she recalls him speeding by her when he was headed to Michiko's. He says Stan's missing and his stuff's gone too. We get a few seconds of the conversation they're having as they walk to a different location to talk about what's going on before abruptly cutting to Tyler at the club. Now looking for Stan, Jacob comes across Tyler and asks where Lisa's at and basically tells him everyone's tried getting in touch with him and the way they were last seen together was mighty sus. Tyler shuts that shit down quick and asks if Jacob sees Stan around. He hasn't, and lastly asks Tyler what happened to Lisa. He's like, fuck if I know, and gets the fuck out of there.
Spoilers ahead. If you do not want an over 30-year-old movie spoiled for you, stop now. Shit's finna be spoiled all the way through. Spoilers everywhere coming. Spoiler alert. Last warning. This is a
The model's back on screen and she gets a call from Stan. She says she stopped by to surprise no one was home and the house was locked. Stan tells her he wants to meet soon and she agrees to someplace public and not to worry if she's a little late. Stan stops her on the street looking like a schemer. As the model's running across the street shouting for Tyler, she sees him, they get to talking, and we get caught up to speed with how much they're on the same page. The model says Stan seems strange on the phone and asks what Tyler's planning next, to which he honestly doesn't have a single fucking clue, but he'll be damned if he does nothing. So they take off to rendezvous at a bridge. Tyler walks under it trying to find Stan. Stan very casually sneaks over to the model and grabs her, telling Tyler to come out. They confront each other, and Tyler wants a motive. Stan tells us he was the one Lisa was talking to off screen, and he found her after she destroyed his statue, and he killed her because so. Then gathered his belongings and tucked his tail knowing only the model, Lisa, and Tyler had any idea where he was staying, and now he's taking care of loose ends. Stan takes the model hostage and they run off. While Tyler runs after him, the model fights back some, but gets knocked the fuck out and thrown in Stan's ride. Then we see Tyler walking in the snow, being called out by someone looking piggish, and Tyler starts to do the dash until he recognizes his friend Nick. Nick tells him people are looking for his ass, and Tyler swears he isn't sus. Nick knows better, and he even offers a place to stay. Good friend. Tyler goes on to explain Stan admitting to killing Lisa, as Nick responds with the most horror and shock any human is capable of expressing.
Oh, Stan. I always knew he was a little baddie.
This movie kills me. Nick goes on to say Josh gave Stan some LSD that had him tripping dick, then puts two and two together and recalls Stan telling them about a highway he liked to hang out at. Then they dick dastardly and Muttley their asses there. Transitioning to a full-blown chase scene, scenic wide shots. One thing specifically I have to point out is the two actors running in at the very least a mile of snow and fighting up the snowy stairs. It looks absolutely fucking freezing out there. And I'm not sure if Peter Rattray and Harvey J. Goldenberg were doing that or they had someone else, but at the very least I gotta commend them for that. Like, damn. Tyler proceeds to chase Stan to the top of the bridge, and Stan climbs over the rail holding a knife and begging Tyler to stay back. Tyler grabs him, trying to pull him, back over, and Stan jerks, causing him to fall off the bridge. Sounds pretty fucking intense, right? Well. The model catches up with Tyler, and they fall into each other's arms before walking off, yelling for Nick, ending out with an upbeat, dreamlike tone for this trippy drama mystery. The majority of the cast that left out didn't have much information about them, and there aren't any images to go off on, just names sadly. The model is never addressed by her name in the movie. Played by Nancy Norman, there isn't much else to say about her that I know of. David Roya, who'd later play a shit radio operator in the 1976 King Kong remake, had some role to fill in the mischief here, but I don't know who the fuck he was. I'm guessing Nick or Josh. Earlier I was going off about an extended version or scenes that were cut that matches the 2 hour and 47 minute info online, wanted to see if it's really out there. It's because it feels like when the model and Tyler discuss about Stan's involvement in the situation, wherever they chose to relocate at after Tyler convinced the model they needed to talk, the scene cuts away faster than it started. But anyway, that's the love statue. Something of a psychedelic whodunit. In the first film in David E. Durston's career, he'd make a name for himself in the exploitation genre, and fanatics like myself commonly remember him for the classic I Drink Your Blood. I give this film a 7 out of 10. All the actresses give a good amount of acting for a low budget, and the hip 60s guy attitude worked for the story, which in itself has a home in the psychedelic cinema era of the Love-Ins, The Trip, Hook Generation, Psych Out, and so on. I think the shots of the skull and candles during the start of the film are dope. The guy mesmerized by Mashiko that ashes his cigarette in a glass? Yeah, me too, dude. Josh trying to weasel a sugar cube in Tyler's drink as Tyler stops him like, no you don't, you scamp. The way Lisa's dead body is positioned when Tyler finds her. When a regular named Liz comes in sitting next to Tyler while he's at a bar, she's holding the newspaper inferring something awful happened and how unsafe it is living there these days, making Tyler anxious as she feels his anxiety, telling the bartender about some guy named Tyler that wanted to take her out, but he gave her the creeps and she turned him down. It gives the feeling that he thinks it's humorous someone else with his name is being belittled, as if he isn't alone getting this shit into life, you know? Or possibly the sense Tyler isn't sure he knows this woman, that confusion of what's real and isn't after coming down from that 3-day trip took a toll somewhat. Liz looks him straight in the face and goes back to his story, and the emotion of relief he has a I guess I'm off the hook vibe. I like that. And when Nick spots Tyler and slides on the snow towards him, grabbing the fucker, trying to figure out why he's out in the open, I can't help getting a laugh out of that. It appears so natural. I love that shit. So motherfuckers, this has been my first review. Please comment below if you've seen this before and share your thoughts. And if you haven't but want to check it out, man, it's on YouTube and Tubi. Give me some ideas what to review next too. Any genre works for me. That guy on the couch. Signing out.